Hey, how you doing?
What we got here is a failure to communicate.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
All right, who did this? I'm not mad. I just want to know who did it so I can punish them.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Oh, welcome to mi casa. That's French for front door.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
So excited to have our next guest on. We love it. It's Shannon Watson with Majority in the Middle. Shannon, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Al?
I've got stuff up my craw, and I know I said that just before we went on the air, and that might be the oldest thing I say all day long today, because I think my dad used to say it. Not a lot of people with stuff in their craw, but I've got something.
Right.
But you understood the reference. You're a young lady. Do you get what I meant?
I do, yes.
That's
yes.
old school. You have an old dad. Okay.
I do.
Okay. That's the only reason we can talk, because you have some history of me. I just realized how old that was the second I got something in my craw we'll talk about it, and then I hit the button, and I'm like, man, I am my dad.
If that's the worst thing, then that's probably pretty good.
Well, no, it just comes out at weird times, and I'm like, no one says that phrase. Let me tell you what's sticking in my craw. Yesterday in the news, Ghost Students was the article in the Strib, and basically 2-year and community colleges are getting hit. I got to imagine this is going on at universities as well, only because of so much online classes that they do. But basically, Century College guy, Big Dog, is talking to the people in the panel. 15% of the students in 2023 at Century College were ghost students. They weren't. It was fraud. What do you call it? A gangster mentality. There was the mob, I think he said. It's mobs. They're not there. They're just stealing money blind. I'm sorry, Shannon. I'll share what Senator French said. Senator French didn't get as upset as I'd hoped, to be honest, but he likened it to this. Back in the day,
it's hard to get Senator French really riled up about something. He's kind of a level-headed guy.
Then he pulls this out, and it's like just this very cool. He said, remember back in the day when they took all the money via stagecoach with a guy driving the horses and another guy with a gun.
Another guy with a gun.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, that was the way. And then the bad guys realized, well, we just need more than 2 guys with guns, and we can take the money. So then they decided, well, we'll build these trains. Who can stop a train? We'll do this way. And then the bad guy said, well, if you blow up the tracks, the train stops, and we get. So he seems like this is just the newest version. And I'm like, well, that's kind of.
I love how you're worried about using the term "stuck in my craw," and your guest is talking about the Pony Express and moving money via train.
It's a very old show. We're very old souls on this program. No, I'm going to tell friends who said that next time I see them. I love that. That is fantastic.
Well, hey, it's on YouTube now, so
he can look it up himself if he knew how to do a computer. Right. But his point being is just people's way of bad people doing bad things, and what are you going to do about it? That was kind of the feeling I had. Well, we'll figure out the next way of stopping him. How do I put this?
There's a lot of innovation that comes with crime, and
I get his point. Mine is we should be better. The want to protect their stuff, and this is where you get into the Capitol and that sort of thing. It seems from the outside it was way too easy in the Feeding Our Futures debacle to get your hands on money if you wanted it. You didn't have to prove much, and you could get it. Now they're going to jail. You get your bad guys doing bad things,
right?
But in this Centrally article, or this article in the paper about Century College, he said, we can make a school one day. The first day, everybody got to be at school the first day or the first 2 days. If that doesn't work, so we see the human. Well, then that person can't sit in the basement and sign up for 4,000 classes across the country. Okay, but he said that'd be really hard. That's a lot of work. Like, that's what we used to do. Now maybe we got to go back to stagecoach. Let's go back to the stagecoach to keep this analogy going and make it harder. You get my point? Is I want people, because the money is, they're talking $67 billion taxpayer money. Let's at least pretend we're trying really hard to make it hard for the bad guys. Is that asking too much?
No. The 66, that was is that federal money or state money?
Oh no, this.
I admit I didn't read the entire article.
No. The 66 billion is my reference. What I believe is what they're shooting for the budget to be in Minnesota this year.
Oh,
right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're looking at about 66,
Not
68
billion of front. Yes.
No, that's. But my point is, so that's like real money. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And so my point is, do I, as Al, the citizen, have the right to say they're going to be bad people? Are you doing all you can to make sure we don't make it too easy on them? And that's kind of the feeling I get when we keep seeing this repeated fraud stuff. As example, if I may, the autism thing, where you can set up an autism shop. I love the idea. A lot of autistic kids, we got to take care of them. But if they don't even have to have a license, now we're like, Al's autism shop? What the world could I tell anybody? I have no flipping idea, but the state will send me money. It's got to be harder. And I don't mean to make it hard, and it's very un-Republican of me. But my barber's got to take
more regulation.
Well, I would like it in the right. I'd like it in the right spot. So I get my haircut. My barber over chatting with her. She's got all these regulations. I'm telling you, a bad barber will instantly be put out of business. You do a couple bad haircuts with the wrong ladies in this town, you're done. So, I mean, that will weed itself out. The autistic child who goes to Al's autism class and doesn't get help, the autistic kid isn't going to be able to say, well, he's bad at it. The minute, I find a better way.
That is an interesting thing. I worked several years ago when I was at the Chamber of Commerce. I worked with some of our municipalities that were interested in having a state license for massage therapists. Because massage therapists are not licensed in the state of Minnesota, and all the regulations is at the city level. Yes. So if you have a bad actor who has a massage parlor that turns out is little more than a massage parlor, if you get my meaning.
I think we got your meaning on that.
I think we got the meaning. Yes. They get discovered in one city, and then there's nothing that keeps them from moving to the next city and setting up shop. So it's kind of that same kind of thing, is find out where, and law enforcement and regulatory is always going to follow the bad actors. Like every law that exists for a reason. There's a story, which is actually good because, in a free society, we would much rather have rules that make things not legal than all the rules that make things legal. I would rather start with the baseline of, yep, this is legal. I imagine your, Republicanism lets you do that.
I don't disagree, but it's that common. I want to call it common sense, and that makes other people feel bad. I don't mean to do that, but this idea that now we see a problem to your schools, they can do this via online. What's the first best way? Well, make them show up for one class. We used to and this is Megan didn't realize it. The last guest. We did not have computers when I went to college. You didn't. Don't laugh at that. It was 83, okay? They weren't out yet. They're just starting. So my point is, you can survive, young college person, if you have to go to one class to prove who you are.
Right, yes.
And then go home and sit in your basement to do the class. You can survive this. I know we all got anxiety. But if that's the simplest answer to crush this 15%, if that's the simplest answer, my knee-jerk, let's start there. Yeah. And until some computer geek kid can figure out how to do it better, figure out how. But what's changing? You know what I'm saying? It's just, what happens the next feeding our futures? And what I mean by that, the next big thing happens, and this is on the government, this is on all of us.
Yeah.
We got to feed children. We spent, I don't know how many, 250 million was stolen, so I don't know, we send it into the state of Minnesota, feed these kids. It's the right thing to do. It was the right thing.
Yes.
But we didn't come up with any safeguards, and we were easily ripped. Okay, so have we fixed that loophole for the next thing? And I don't know what it would be. That's what I want. And maybe it's old Army guy Al. Every time you went out, didn't matter if it was a weekend drill, a 2-week drill, you came back and you did an after actions report. What worked and what didn't. Oh, yeah, we forgot to bring the moving biffies, so now everybody's out in the middle of Wisconsin just dropping drawers. Okay, we got to remember, next time, bring the biffies. It just made it easier, right? Well, you're laughing at me. This stuff has to be talked about. Army for 200 years, and sometimes you forget stuff.
Right.
So my point is, can we do that with this stuff? And I don't see that happening. Then we'll go to break because it's that time. When I come back, I want Shannon Watts to tell me, because you're at the Capitol all the time. Is that what I'm not seeing behind the scenes? Is We notice a problem, then people get together and they say, well, after actions, this didn't work well, this did, this is how. Is that going on? I don't even know. We talk with Shannon Watson, Majority in the Middle, right after this.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters brings you its most popular show of all time, Grease. You'll hear all your favorite hits from the Broadway musical and the movie. Join the whole gang at Rydell High. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll bring you back to high school life in the 50s. Poodle skirts, bobby socks, the soda shop, and drive-in movies. Grease! It'll rock your socks off. Order your tickets today. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Dust from gravel roads and driveways does more than make your car dirty inside and out. It gets down into your lungs, and it's bad for your health. Now there's an environmentally friendly solution for your dust problems. It's called DustLock. DustLock can control all your summer dust problems with just one application. Protect your vehicle and your lungs. Learn more at dustlock.com.
Are you kidding me?
You know that comment you said to the radio? The thing that we got wrong?
Clearly, Brussels sprouts are the worst vegetable.
Call us and let the world know your thoughts. 855-257-7469. That's 855-ALS-SHOW.
Shannon Watson, Majority Middle, do not argue about Brussels sprouts. We do not have to have that argument. I saw you with that liner. They are the worst vegetable.
wondered, really? You think so?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's right if there was asparagus. You could have either one of those two.
Man, if you do asparagus right, actually, if you do Brussels sprouts right, if you roast them, put a little salt, little olive oil, they can be good. Like boiled, no, those are terrible. But
yeah, okay. All right, good. We can kind of agree. Here's what we went to break with. We make laws, we set things up, we want to do well. I believe that to my core with everybody up at the Capitol. But then we get a little willy-nilly, in my opinion, trying to get it done, get her done quick. I throw out the Office of Cannabis Management, coming out with their rules 2 years after we made the law. Okay, maybe not. Okay.
Yeah.
But tell me when we find something wrong, like ghost students. Is it like I'm asking for this after actions? Hey, we started this thing. It's not going well. Let's get the group together, come up with how to fix it. Is it like that, or is it a reactionary, need a law? Like Al said, make them show up to school every day or once a day. How does the process work, and does it look more Army-like or more free-flowing?
I think part of the thing, the challenge with the Go students, and it's like, oh, it's 2020, in 2023, 15% of the students were Go students. And, it's 25 now. So it looks like we've known about a problem for 2 years and we just haven't solved it, when that's actually usually not the case. The audits take a while and the accounting takes a while. So, one of the conversations that I think is happening around the Capitol around this subject, there are two people. I usually don't pitch people on your show while I'm on the show, but I would encourage you to talk to Representative Kristen Robbins, who is the chair of the Fraud Committee, Fraud and Something Oversight Committee. That's new, and Representative Jim Nash, who Nash's bill. He's got a really interesting bill. It's House File 3. It was sort of moving in the process before when the House was 133 instead of 134. It didn't get across the finish line for some reason yet. I don't quite know why. But the thing I really like about that bill is it gives sort of more teeth to the Office of the Legislative Auditor, and has them sort of go back. Like, here's our report, and I will tell you, like, Office of the Legislative Auditor is nonpartisan, non-political, sort of universally respected at the Capitol. And I think there's about 4 people who are universally respected at the Capitol, and Office of the Legislative Auditor is one of them. Even I'm on the list. But the challenge to when they do their audit reports is that, they come back with findings and they have, recommendations. There isn't really, at this point, a method of them following back up on those evaluations and saying, okay, hey, did you enact some of these suggestions, some of these controls, or did you not? And tell us why. And sometimes there's a good reason for, like best practices is one thing, and trying to get something done is another. But that bill would not only do that, but then it would have what they're calling fraud notes, which is kind of like a fiscal note, and it's a report to the legislature. Like, here's what this department did, and I think that's part of the thing, is having an independent third party do the evaluation, so it's not just somebody saying, "Well, yeah, I'm doing it. That's it."
Okay, here's an example which I don't think anyone can argue with me on, so it'll be easy. 3 years ago, when it was all the Democrats in charge, they want to get rid of cadmium and lead because in really bright paint and lead, of course, kids lick it, they eat it, and everybody gets sick. So they banned that stuff to 0.009, whatever in the world it was.
Yes.
And they pass it. Okay, I don't want any kids dying of lead poisoning. I got an old house. We clean it all up. I got it.
Yeah.
But oops, the folks that make keys, I got a 62 Ford. I got to get a key made. They're like, I can't make keys anymore. I'm doing it illegally because he can't have keys which are made of lead in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's we know it's right. We want it. We just do it. And now we got to go back and make a law that say, well, except for the keys, because how many kids are eating keys? It seems that's my problem, is like we rush in with, again, good answer. I'm not saying I want a kid eating cadmium. Oh, yeah. But we didn't think through the issue. And now we're here with guys illegally making keys for me at the Ace hardware store. I'm sorry for putting you in that spot, sir, but I got to start my car.
Right. Part of the art of public policy making is the hunt for unintended outcomes.
There you go.
And sometimes when you're moving fast and you don't have enough, just like, what about this and what about this and what about this? Obviously, policy making is slow. It's supposed to be, so we can get to some of those unintended outcomes. But yeah, like some of those you're not going to know until something is in practice. And so we should give people some grace and say, okay, all right, we did this law for the right reason, and here's some unintended outcomes. And so we're going to fix those. Yeah.
And I got it. And as I understand it, not one human being has been arrested for making keys in the state of Minnesota. We're still okay. There's nobody, we're fine. But it's just, that's my point. All great intentions. Again, I don't want cadmium. What do I care about cadmium? I don't care about lead that much. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. But wait a minute. I didn't know it was in my keys, need my keys. And we just got to go through those things a little slower. I love having you on the program. How does somebody get majoritymiddle.org or .com? Are you moved over completely yet?
We are. Either one works. But yes, we're at .org. And On the 26th, we're hosting another Silly Question Saturday at the Capitol, April 26th. So that is fun. If you are interested in that, look on the website under events.
I'm just going to throw this out here. Take it for what it's worth. Yeah. You might need to take that show on the road. Not all of us live in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and I'd love to have you down here in Bloor sometime talking about Silly Question Saturday, but I don't have to drive all the way to the Capitol.
We absolutely can do that. Yes.
I'd love that.
We did it in Monticello once.
Well, that's the other place I'd go. If it wasn't in Minneapolis, St. Paul, it'd be Monticello. So you got that.
Yes.
That was well played. Well played,
not cello.
Monticello. Yeah, go there all the time. Thanks, Shannon. I love having you on the program. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you.
Shannon Watson, Majority in the Middle.